Hey, Mr. D, checking in from Math Muscle. Just wanting to do a short video here with respect to polynomial long division involved in the factoring of a cubic. So here we are, we're given a question that's asked us to factor fully, and as you can see, it's a cubic function. So for some of us, there's prior learning involved. You may forget, or you just need a little bit of a brush up. What we need to do is find a value for x that makes this equal to 0. Typically what we do is look at the constant at the end and find the factors of that particular constant. So in this case here, the factors of the constant are 1 and 5, -1 and -5. And then you just pick one. Usually pick the easiest one. So I'm going to sub in x equals 1 in that particular function. So I just let f at x equal that function. Sub in the value of 1, and as I said, try it, and let's see what happens. If the value of the function gives us 0, then we know we have a root at x equals 0, or at x equals 1. In other words, an x-intercept. So therefore, x minus 1 is the factor. And then we're left to find the other polynomial factor, and we're going to have to do that by dividing x minus 1 into the original function using polynomial long division. So I've already gone ahead and done this, and as you can see, I already have the polynomial factor here. But the way this was constructed was basically, there was nothing here originally, and then I had to come up with a value that I multiply x by to get this first term, 4x cubed. You could simply divide 4x cubed by 4x also, which would give you 4x squared. Then you take this 4x squared and do the distributive property on x minus 1. And you'll get 4x cubed minus 4x squared. And I put brackets there because when we subtract, like we do in regular long division involving numbers, we need to make sure that we subtract both of these terms. And there's a sign involved, negative 12x squared minus negative 4x squared, which leaves us with negative 8x squared. Then we bring down the plus 3x, which is conventional, long division does as well. And we try to find a number or a term that we multiply x by to get negative x squared, and that's negative 8x. So again, we do the same process. We multiply negative 8x by each of these two terms in the binomial. You get negative 8x squared plus 8x. And again, the subtraction means subtract each term and bring down the plus 5, and we have negative 5 or minus 5 times x will give us minus 5x. Minus 5 times minus 1 will give us plus 5. And as is customary with subtract, I use the brackets there to remind us that we're subtracting both terms from the like terms. And if you've done the process properly, you should get a 0 remainder. So what does that tell us? Well, that basically tells us that this polynomial is equal to the product of x minus 1 times this quadratic function. Now, the question is, how in the world are we going to factor this if it's in fact factorable? Well, again, there are many methods to do that. There's decomposition. Some people like the magic square method. So I've gone ahead and used the magic square method because many of my students seem to have been exposed to that in the past. So basically what we're trying to do here is finding two numbers whose product is the product of 4 and negative 5, which is negative 20, whose sum is negative 8, which is the coefficient of the x term. So the way you do that is by breaking down the 4 into its prime factors, like 1 and 4, 4 and 1, 2 and 2, and you break down negative 5 into its factors, 1 and negative 5, or negative 5 and 1, and you build this nifty square. So I just tried 2 and 2 first, and 1 and negative 5. I could have easily have chosen 1 and 4. But I tried 2 and 2, and let's see what happened. So I'm hoping that when I multiply 2 diagonally times negative 5, And when I add that product to this 2 multiplied diagonally with this value of 1, which is 2, so in other words, negative 10 add positive 2, I'm hoping that I get a sum of negative 8, which in fact I do. So then the factorization of that quadratic is basically 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 5. So what's important to note is we go across for the factorization. So there you have it. There's that cubic function that was provided in factored form. I hope that helps. If you have any questions or any requests, please let me know below. If you liked the video, please let me know as well. I'd love to hear from you.